Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another final week matchup. And this time we are in Division 4A, and we've got a matchup between Mickpiet and Paschtetli. Calamity, both of these guys not really playing for a whole lot. Paschtetli is safe from relegation, but nowhere near promotion. But Mickpiet does have a very, very far outside chance of making the promotion playoffs, rather. So we'll see if he can maybe glimpse that against Solar Sensei, who's up against Wakelock. So I think you're going to try to keep us updated on that match as well as we go along. See if anything might change with that. But yeah, let's look at these two pretty close throughout the entire season. Record not too different. Both of them near perfect games or a perfect game, and Ace is very similar as well.
Yeah, their stats look pretty similar. You're making Pete's chances seem far more outlandish than they actually are. Essentially, he
Hype
just
him up.
needs Solar Sensei to lose, and then he can easily get into third.
Mhm.
And he needs a slightly better score than Lunacy, because he's currently behind on that, but only by 146 points. So essentially, if he just wins his game with a good score, then he just needs Solar Sensei to lose, but the one problem you could potentially see there is that Solar Sensei is playing against Wakelock, who is currently down in ninth and, well, technically last place if you exclude the red carded Soviet. So that's what he'll be looking at mostly. But before that, even he still needs to be Paschtetli, who, yeah, as you said, he's playing for pretty much nothing except for position in the table, which, well, don't know how much that matters to him, but he could still get up to fourth place if he wins and gets lucky with other results going his way.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes people with nothing to play for are the worst possible opponents because they, aren't really stressed out at all. They're kind of in the flow a bit, and they can definitely play spoilers in these kind of weeks. So yeah, we are in Canada for our final regular season week. Average score at about 16,500. This is a balanced map, which means we could definitely see some locations way up north. But it is computer generated, which means not always the nicest location. Sometimes middle of a straight highway in the middle of nowhere, so we could get 4.5 minutes of nothing. So hopefully
Yep.
we won't have too many of those rounds in this one. But yeah, any bets as to who might come out on top?
It's really difficult to say, again, because as you saw from their stats, they've looked pretty similar so far. Their season's gone pretty similar. They're not far apart from the table. Neither of them necessarily, I assume, have practiced too much. I just watched like a couple of the first few seconds of Mickpiet where he said he played one game as practice. So not the most practice on his side. And Paschtetli, I don't know how much time he's had. So I think it'll depend a lot on the seed itself. Otherwise, I think they're roughly equal.
Okay, yeah, so it'll be interesting as see how things develop in the final week for this division. Let's not keep you waiting any longer and let us jump right in to round number one. And well, what do you know? First location, big highway,
Yep.
not a whole lot around, so we'll see what we can find.
Paschtetli did actually already walk past something that is very useful, a highway, well, a speed limit sign that is specific to Ontario, where it has the sort of black bar on the bottom there. And he just walked past another thing, kind of like the sort of like, what is it even called? I mean, it's a rectangle or like maybe even a square, but it's just like tilted slightly to the side, which is green white, which is also specific to Ontario, as far as I know. So it just depends on, did he practice those kinds of specifics, and will he find anything else that will allow him to pinpoint anywhere in Ontario?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is maybe trying to look at some license plates, so maybe he did practice those, if not road signs, but he's continuing to head north. Mickpiet, on the other hand, is heading more south, so we will see different things from them.
Yeah, you do have license plates here, which limits you to, as long as I'm not getting it wrong, BC, Ontario, Manitoba, and I think one more. Which one is it? I think Nova Scotia, but I'm not 100%. So let me just quickly look that up.
A couple of them have the very white license plate. Can be hard to distinguish when they're blurred out, but yeah, no clues on the truck or anything like that.
It's New Brunswick, actually, not Nova Scotia. So they're in one of those four. And, well, just looking around, it's clearly not New Brunswick.
True. And you've already mentioned that some of those signs from Ontario, so we know at least where they might be, but so far hasn't seen any movement from either of these players towards the map. They're still just heading down these roads. Mickpiet has turned around to head north, which, as we know, probably is not the thing to do because Paschtetli is about 2.5 minutes ahead of him, and he has not seen anything. So Mickpiet might happen to be making a guess off of geography and maybe some road signs.
Yeah, it's a bit flat to be British Columbia as well. So you could probably exclude that too. I mean, there's definitely going to be some parts of British Columbia that look a bit like that, but in sort of generally thinking about probabilities, you're more likely to be right if you go with Ontario. And Mickpiet is looking at Yukon.
A little bit too far north. Maybe he's thrown off a bit by seeing snow on the ground, but
I think landscape-wise, it's not an awful guess. Like Yukon could look like that. It's just we already know with the license plates and everything else that it can't be. Also, the coverage in Yukon is relatively sparse. I mean, a highway like that would probably be covered, but yeah.
Paschtetli, though, does put his pin down in Ontario, so maybe he did pick up on some of those signs with a minute left to go. And he did head back eventually, sometime when I wasn't looking, back to the start and headed south.
So we know we're not going to see anything for the last 50 seconds.
Yep, because, yeah, Pete is not caught up to Paschtetli, and Paschtetli will not catch up to make Pete's progress in those opposite directions. So I will tell you that if you travel long enough in one direction, there is a Ontario Highway sign with the number. And I got it at like 4 minutes and like 15 seconds, 10 seconds, and was like, okay, great. I've got a highway number, but that's it. Like, there's no towns,
no time.
There's no anything, and there's no time. So I just threw my pin down somewhere on the middle of that highway. But I think anybody who had a decent score in this one did exactly that. And yeah, we will be Paschtetli with the slightly better score, and I say that Mickpiet only getting 47 points, being way on the other side of the country. I don't know, but I would kind of feel like that almost puts him out of it after one round. 3,368 points for Paschtetli, who, at least in the first round, showing himself a bit more familiar with the country.
Yeah, I actually remember I found a few town names. I remember Birkendale and Dorset. Then spent a lot of time trying to look for them in Ontario and did not find them, of course. But so at least there were multiple things. Actually, wait a second. I didn't guess in Ontario. So maybe I found the town names, but obviously that was before I practiced, so obviously didn't know any of the state-specific clues. But yeah, so in general, that's not a good start for Mickpiet with already over 3,000 points of a disadvantage, especially considering in the other match, it's actually Wakelock who takes the lead with 522 points against 170. Not the biggest lead yet, but it is a slight lead, which opens the door for Mickpiet. But he now has to make up over 3,300 points in the last 4 rounds.
Yeah, not exactly likely. I mean, it is Canada. We could get the kind of reverse happening here where Paschtetli guesses in the middle of nowhere and at the wrong side of the country, but not really likely, as we will jump into round number 2 here. And, well, welcome to more highway, Calamity. See if we can't see anything a little bit nicer. Well, that will help out a little bit if we can read what's on that sign. Oh, there we go. Does it say NS?
It was too small for me
Yeah,
to
it
read.
is really too small. I don't
It's
know
not going to be
why.
France.
Maybe a little bit of a joke there by Mickpiet. Oh, I know a town by that name. But if it is a province, and yeah, it is NS. I got on Paschtetli's screen now. Much easier to see. Town name with Nova Scotia. And
Oh, yeah.
be just a matter of time to find that. And yep, Paschtetli right away recognizes that. Mickpiet obviously having a little bit more fun this round. It is worth noting his video is from Twitch stream, so really just having some fun with his chat to say, "Oh, I know where we are," and throws us in France just to make them all go, "What?" So got a little bit of a town entrance as well as some small street names. So
That might be Fortress of Louisburg.
area. So that's definitely got stuff to start to look for Paschtetli. Mickpiet still not really sure. I don't think he really picked up on that Nova Scotia clue. If he did, at least he hasn't looked at it on the map, but he is approaching some very nice highway signs.
Yeah.
Lots of town names, Nova Scotia province flag. He does recognize that, so he'll be doing much better in this one, at least in the right province, not too far from the town. There we go. Yeah, so about 2.5 minutes, or a little less than 2.5 minutes now. Both of them pretty close to the actual location. Just a matter of honing in exactly where they might be.
Yep. Paschtetli's found Louisburg.
Which is a little bit
But
farther than...
Yeah, it's not the place where he's currently.
Yeah. We will just travel along this road looking for any clues. And once some of these roads start to look a little bit more familiar, yeah.
There's Ormond Crescent that he found earlier.
He will head back to the start. Mickpiet, though, still trying to pinpoint his location from this intersection. Town names and whatnot. But his pin is actually in a pretty similar spot to Paschtetli's, as long as he doesn't move it. So yeah, both of them in the area. So unfortunately for Mickpiet, that turnaround won't be happening really in this round. Only a few hundred points, probably separating them, if anything, in this one.
There is a pretty distinctive road coming off of there.
Slightly north of their location, so he will be pinpointing that one. And ooh, just a little bit too far away. Road did look very similar, but just too far south, unfortunately. 4,959 points from him.
Underestimated how far he traveled to get into the city.
And Twitch does not have a nice, like on YouTube, if you click on the video, it pauses the video, but doesn't work on Twitch. So my reflexes are a bit off.
Paschtetli's pretty much there.
Take the last 10 or 12 odd seconds to make sure he is there. And I guess will come a few seconds early, an ace for him. So he even extends that lead by a little bit more after that round. But yeah, much easier than round number one. And yeah, both of them able to at least find the general area, even if Mickpiet was just a couple kilometers off on that.
Yep. And all even in the other game between Solar Sensor and Wakelock, both 4,999 in this round. So Wakelock stays just that little bit ahead. But yeah, Mickpiet needs another difficult round. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen there.
Well, yeah, well then, let us just jump right in to this next round, round number 3, and interesting rocky terrain, and right away, Paschtetli
Paschtetli's
going
putting us in Maine, US.
yeah, way towards the East Coast. That's his instinct, but not sure why he would actually put his pin in Maine, even if it was just a rough guess. Hopefully he recognizes that mistake. Yeah, we're on a highway again, but some more signs for some tourist attractions might give us a clue as to what city or province we are near. I'll tell you one thing, Calamity. Lakes are not the thing you want to be looking for in Canada.
Nope, definitely not. Unless it's one of the big lakes. Oh, there it says Dorset. Maybe I got the rounds. I think I got the rounds the other way around earlier.
Okay. Yeah,
that explains it.
There we go. That's an Ontario for Mickpiet, and as well as a town name.
Yeah, I did. That was what I was talking about back when we were finishing up round one. I found Dorset here. I was a bit confused because I remember distinctly looking for Dorset in Ontario. So when I saw I got like 40 points on round one, I was like, huh, that's odd. But yeah, that's why.
Gogwin Highlands Township.
Oh, that's a very useful sign. If one had found that.
As well
for
as
the Algonquin Provincial Park.
As well as the county borders. We're at a county and city border in Ontario, but I think actually it is Paschtetli with the towns, and it is Mickpiet with the province. So very different information. Paschtetli will checkpoint that, which is a pretty good use. If you can jump back there, you can catch. There we go. Highway 60. That'll help. Still no closer to a province quite yet.
Yeah, the Algonquin National Park has a size of 7,600 square kilometers, so findable.
Definitely, if you recognize it, that is.
Now
seeing some of those signs that Paschtetli saw earlier, and he does appear to be on the right road. He is in the park.
Yep.
And as you can see, plenty of lakes. Even if you got the right road and the right province, means finding the lake you're next to is not going to be easy.
Nope.
No idea as to the size.
Paschtetli's finally put himself into Canada.
And goes towards the west coast. Unfortunately.
He's changed from the US to Canada, and it made it worse.
Yeah, hopefully he will catch a glimpse of a sign here in the next minute or so that will point him towards Ontario. He must have missed that sign that Mickpiet had.
I don't remember. What sign did Mickpiet have?
No, not that one. There was a white sign that had an address for town and Ontario on it. And it wasn't too far from the start, but I think it was the other direction than Paschtetli went. So we'll see if he can't catch anything in the last 30 seconds, because otherwise things could get a bit interesting. Mickpiet finding the right road, hasn't quite been able to pinpoint it with 25 seconds left. Here it is. That's the sign. I think it is. They're all white.
Yeah.
That just says Dorset. Never mind, unfortunately. I thought a big white sign would be unique, but apparently not.
Yeah, Paschtetli's also seen these guardrails that you can see there on either side of the road is also specific to Ontario.
And that will
and he has put
closer.
himself there now.
But not close enough. 4,756 points for Mickpiet and only 501 points for Paschtetli. So that last minute move does earn him a few hundred points. But yeah, that gap definitely closing a bit there, Calamity.
You say closing. Mickpiet is now ahead by about 900 points. So
massive
quite
swing.
the lead. Yep. 500 points isn't exactly a lot. and in the right province, but just on a complete wrong end of it, and just too late the realization that he was in Ontario. I'm not even sure if there was anything where he was like, okay, probably Ontario, or if it was just, I have no idea where it is. Let me just go a bit more central. Yeah, it didn't really work out there for him. But the unfortunate part for Mickpiet is that this round was also the turnaround for Solar Sensei, who only dropped 3 points here compared to Wakelok, who was more alongside Paschtetli's guess and only got 600 points here, which creates a very, very big gap in that matchup, where Wakelok is now about 4,000 points behind, and with only 2 rounds to go. Even if Mickpiet has now turned around his own game, it seems unlikely that it would be enough for a charge towards the promotion spots.
A bit unfortunate. Well, let's jump in to round number 4. And this one will be a nice change of pace. Yeah, Civilization. Just a matter of now figuring out what city you are in. There's Regina Road. I don't think that's the city we're in, but it might be.
It's a very interesting coverage, sort of night coverage, I suppose, almost like very late in the evening.
There we go.
Yeah, Thunder Bay.
More Ontario. Those Crown highway signs as well as Thunder Bay. So both of them finding that sign pretty close.
Not quite sure where Thunder Bay is.
Yeah, Paschtetli has already determined we are on more of the western side of town. Should be a pretty straightforward round for him. He's already the kind of neighborhood down at least. He's a little bit too far north, if I'm not mistaken.
Mickpiet's finally found Thunder Bay as well.
There you go. Yeah, but yeah, within a minute, both of them outside of the town, on the right edge. This should be definitely feasible for both of them.
Yeah.
To see that actually comes true, which means keep things very tight. 500 points separating them, probably roughly going into the round 5 after this. Both of them pretty equal on points. Paschtetli is pretty sticking with that intersection, but it doesn't match and it doesn't have the right names. So I'm not sure why he hasn't quite been able to navigate to any decent road signs yet.
Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure there's a road sign right at the start. Yeah, Piccadilly. And there is, there is Piccadilly. Did he? Oh, he did move. I thought he was still further away. Problem when they stay zoomed in. It looks like something else. But yeah, find it. There we go. An ace for him. Still about 2 minutes left for Mickpiet to figure this out. He is the general same area, but he's to figure out where he might be. There's Piccadilly.
Yep.
So I think he needs to realize we're on a bigger road than that. He'll go back to the start. A pretty major road.
Wrong end of the side street.
There we go.
There we go.
Too bad. An ace for him as well. Keeps him slightly in the lead then for this one, Calamity. And I assume Wakelok and Solar Sensei didn't change much after that round either.
Yeah, no problem at all for Wakelok. And Solar Sensei did drop 81 points. Just no idea what he did in that round, because he also didn't even spend nearly all of his time. Guessed after 2.5 minutes. I guess it didn't matter too much. And yeah, gap still stays pretty large in that one.
Okay, well then pretty much not a whole lot to play for either one of these going into the final round, but let's see if we can be somewhere in the western half of this country, and nope. Quebec flag, city name.
Doesn't get much easier than that.
No. I didn't move.
I didn't either.
You have the road names, you've got the flag, you've got
You've even got the road number here.
yeah, everything. So you just search around Quebec for that little town.
There it is
There
for
it is.
Mickpiet, and Paschtetli probably won't be far behind.
Taking him a little bit longer to find that town name. Got plenty of time to do it.
Yeah, and he's behind anyway, so
Mm.
it doesn't really matter too much what he does as long as Mickpiet finds it and 5Ks it. Yeah, and he is in the right spot. Yeah.
Yep. So ace for, I assume, both of them going into this final round. Paschtetli has yet to actually guess, but he is essentially in the right spot. Means that Mickpiet will take a pretty, not an insignificant win on this one. And yeah, big turnaround. Though he was way down, definitely did a nice comeback in round number 3. And that means Paschtetli will finish up a bit low down in the tables, unfortunately. Despite some very good performances. Just one round in Ontario throwing him off a bit. He will spend his time to make sure he pinpoints this. There we go. An ace for him, 1 meter away. Very nice job for him. So congrats. Neither of them, though, end up moving at all in the table. They'll both be safe. And we'll just have to wait for next season in that one. So I assume Solar Sensei did maintain the win then in his game again, Wakelock.
Yes. Yeah, as expected. Not any big problems there for both of them. Again, Wakelock, similarly to in round 4, actually much quicker. But yeah, not enough to make any sort of this difference there. 5K for both of them there too.
Very nice. Well, yeah, Mickpiet is a newcomer in Reddit League, so he'll be very happy with at least surviving in his first division. And yeah, Paschtetli, after a bit of a shaky start, quite a few draws, was looking like he might be in danger, but he will survive. I think really what helped him was the red card by Soviet that kind of widened that gap between him and the relegation fight and made him feel a bit safer for sure. So he'll be happy to stay in Division 4 for next season as well. Well, thank you all for watching. This division, as well as 5 and Division 1, are on a break for the next week. We'll be back for these guys with their relegation and promotion playoff battles in 2 weeks. So you want to catch any of those matchups we might be able to get for you then. And we'll see you all next time. Take care.
Bye.